Wewe ushailala nje ya shule?
Nje ya shule.
Yeye kwenda, unajua huyu alikuwa pro system.
Yule alikuwa pro system. Mimi wala naona kabisa. Mimi kwa pro system bana. That Sunday meeting. Unasikia jambo. Mimi kwa ndani ya system.
What's up everybody? Ukiona nimeng'ara hivi, we are ready to fly.
Manze
na
Captain Jage alikataa Mr. So leo ni Captain Jage mwenyewe, Zai the teacher, the best schools TV. Leo tuko kwa show na Eric. Karibu sana kwa show.
Thanks man.
Leo nasikia ni kama zangu zimeshika. Ngiona nikiwa hyper sana
unataka kutuliza. So guys, obvious thanks a lot once again for watching us. Today we are hosting. Manze, umeenda Mombasa of late? Have you been to Mombasa or forth and back? Nairobi, Mombasa that way, na ukatumia SGR. Leo tuko na wewe hapa. We got you. Because today tuko na Eric Munene, the SGR driver with us.
Wanaitwa driver man.
Manze hiyo Sasa tuseme nikadere
na mimi ni conductor.
Anyway, leo umevalia kama conductor.
Yes.
Manze, karibu kwa show.
Thanks manze.
Wanaitangwaje kwanza?
Okay, what happens it depends with actually the nationality ama tuseme ile nchi huko. There are places where they are called train conductors. There are places they are called for example in Kenya we call them locomotive drivers. You are called a locomotive driver. And you find in other countries they are also called locomotive engineer. So depending on where you come from, for me when you call me a locomotive driver I'm okay with that.
Good.
Yeah. So let's settle on locomotive driver.
Today we are hosting the SGR Madaraka Express locomotive driver Eric Munene mwenyewe. Na amekuja kwa hii show kwa sababu this is my great friend. There's one time tulisoma na yeye, na kini tukisoma na yeye kwa the same classroom. Akiwa ameketi mimi nilikuwa nimesimama.
In other words, ni mwanafunzi wako.
Yes.
Manze sijui utaanzia wapi.
Hata
najua mtazamaji akona maswali mingi sana.
Exactly.
From now, Jackie kwanza ndio amekazia mingi sana, but I don't know where we start from.
There is a lot to be said, as you have said, Mr. Adha. You are my teacher, and I remember you joined when I was in Form 2.
Yeah.
Form 2C, and by then you were taking us through commerce.
Sure.
By then it was business studies. That is when. So I never continued the commerce, but it was a nice time. You spend a lot of time together, and it's because you acted like a peer teacher. Sometimes it's the age difference was that big. It was very slim. Yeah. So there is a lot of things we used to discuss together, other than teaching and even career shape up and about life. So and then we developed a bond. Away from studies, we bond, we became even friends, and we could share a lot. So it's been a process whereby we've enjoyed more of friendship, because you took me through classes for 1 year, but from there we enjoyed a process of friendship, and I'm sure years later I'm now on your show. I'm on your show as a guest.
Sure.
And you as a host, and I'm the guest.
The first teacher-student
interaction on the podcast.
Yeah. And it's a nice one. It's a nice one. You sit down, have a chat, try to catch up. Because I remember after high school, we've met. I think this is the third time. The first time we met again after school, we met in town. Whereby you're doing other things, and then we started now interacting online. Whereby you realized maybe I have interest on online.
Yeah.
And then you realize I was doing other things. Then we tukafanya recap. So when I was coming for leave nikakwambia I'll be around, maybe we can do some 1-2. And then the next time we met, I think it was a weekend and then we are here again. You know, the reason you find that the primary schools zile ziko huko kwa kijiji, the DEB ones, you find that your parent went through there. So wale walimu unapata pale, they taught your father or they taught your mother, and then you go there, then you show some resemblance in character. So and you have seen your parent, this is the kind of behavior your parent had in school. So they are like, tunajua tu, a fruit does not fall very far from the fruit. Yes. If you find an apple around a mango tree, hii ni ya kuletwa. But sometimes a mango tree will bring down a mango fruit. So anakwambia, I know you people, nyinyi too, you don't get anything. Mathematics, even your father was like this. Ako wapi sai, anafanya shughuli zingine, which by then, if you didn't get out and get a collar job by then, white collar job, it was termed as failure. But I remember, if in primary school you said that you would like to become a farmer, mwalimu atangekuona wo. What are you saying? Because the farmers were viewed as people, it was not a career.
But now I think to grow, your coffee ilikuwa mazeime.
I live people. And then maziwa, you know, and you are farming maize for only za kukula hapo kwa hao. Nobody had an idea that there is a way I can improve on my production and make a living out of that. So I think I'll mention a little bit of my growing up and primary school. Hiyo time ile time ulikuwa ukienda shule unaambo ushike hapa. So I think unaingia nursery, ndio unakuwa na grade 1 ama PP1 ama whatever. Tulikuwa to nursery. And hiyo time ilikuwa si miaka sana. But for me I think I went to nursery school when I was 5 years old. Although it was a little bit tiny. And my experience was just like any other. Whereby by then ilikuwa ukienda shule by afternoon. Nursery school kwa narudi afternoon. Unarudi mtaa. So that was my life. And it was fun because
I don't know
Aba ndio maana wanatugia.
Exactly. It was fun. You go home. Come back 8 or 9 tomorrow. And even after nursery school, you go to class 1, class 2, the lower primary. The lower primary pia, it was not a must mrudi saa 8.
Umeanza juzi.
Depending na mood ya teacher wenu, kama kuna shughuli.
Kwanza saa 7 na mnampigia kawio.
Mnapiga. Hakuna kurudi. Falsafa tulikuwa tunajua.
Na mnamwimbia kawio.
So that was the kind of life I went through. Then from there unaenda class 4, class 5. It was normal whereby because I came to realize that maybe my teachers they will not agree with me, but I came to know that lazima umalize syllabus after nimeingia high school. Kule kwingine me didn't know what was being followed, but they were nice people. They were trying because you see the kind of people you have in school. Actually ulikuwa unapata in those schools by then ungepata mtoi ako class 4. Maybe sometimes hata kuandika jina yake. So the teachers were like move sana na ile pace ya wale wengine wanaenda na pace yao. Acha tu saingine to move nayo. So those teachers were really trying. But mimi sikuwahi kumbuka tukipatwa pressure ya kumaliza syllabus. It was all about you. So the culture was like and then pale it was like teacher akipata shughuli yake kama ni salo imeingia anaweza kimbia, anatoka shule anaenda mtamuona the following day. But nakumbuka the management of the school they were doing some quite good job. I can remember that so much. Sina memories mingi za pale because unajua time mtu apendi shule sana. So sometimes you could even feel like I am staki kuenda, but now I was they are pushing you. But it was a nice experience growing up with your friends, you know, with buddies. You grow up, you go to school sababu pia mnacheza, there is a football team that you want to play with pale shule, and interclasses kwa tunajiorganize my interclasses wenyewe like 4 East you play with 4 West.
Ball ilikuwa ball ile
ni ya Juala kulikuwa na
Handmade,
exactly handmade. Kulikuwa na wale majamaa, they are very good in making it, and I think I was one of them. I could make a very nice ball. Shida ilikuwa time ya mvua, ikinyesha it used to become very solid, you cannot play it. But all those interactions, I think they form your character, they mold you until to your person, the person you are today. And then mentioning about going to school barefooted, that is I experienced that. And you know the washrooms, there is a pale the way they were. So it's something that ilikuwa inani encourage sana to really work hard, because ulikuwa unaona you going to school barefoot, unaangalia pia home kuko aje, and then kuna wale you see then watoto wa walimu, you know, mlikuwa classes moja na wao Ndege ile moja wa watoto wa walimu, you know, whether you experience let me tell you, I had one pair of shorts. I had I think hii ni watu wengi sana wamepitia, one pair of shirt kama kuna pair, and a sweater. And remember, kuna vile hii sweater yako ama hii shirt ya shule inaweza kuwa Sunday best. Kuna vile because if you find that hakukuwa na zile luxury sana, so ulikuwa unapata umeshona nguo ya shule, actually ilikuwa ni kushonewa, si kubaiwa. Unaenda kwa fundi, he prepares the short for you, and the blouse ama the shirt and one sweater. So for me nilikuwa tungeiva for a whole week mpaka ina shine. So ile time tulifika
kushine
umeikalia ina shine, umeitumia, so zilikuwa zinafuliwa ni weekend. So but yet umefika upper class ama somewhere, mwalimu angekuwa advice, because hata kama kuna kamoja, just wash it at night and yani huko nje baada asubuhi itaanza ku dry. So you see those kind of challenges whereby getting two uniform pairs of uniform ilikuwa ni luxury, ilikuwa tu na watoto wa walimu. So you would see the kind of life they are living, and they would talk about things that you don't understand. So it was like okay, let me just try and see if I can change. I can change things. Yeah.
Is that's now the effort that pushed you mpaka ukajipata national school?
National school ilikuwa na story yake. Actually some things happened with a reason. So, you know, joining Eco Boys wasn't a guarantee, because I remember by then Eco ilikuwa inachukua, you know, there is that selection whereby they could select student by the Eco Boys was rated as a provincial boarding school. All along it was provincial boarding. Wala najua ilikuwa national school, provincial boarding. Now something happened and by then principal Mr. Gitari was is one neighbor hapa chini. Mr. Gitari sijui kama anaweza nikumbuka, because after joining Eco Boys ali retire the first term in April when we were breaking for holidays. He didn't come back. So Eco Boys was now categorized as provincial day. So you see the marks, the entrance mark ikateremshwa, and that is how we got ourselves in Eco Boys, having scored slightly it was around 350. By then alikuwa anachukua the lowest alikuwa anaingia na 380. So unapata sisi to score that 350. That is how we, and by good luck we had selected Eco as one of our best of our choices. So that is how we found ourselves there with slightly lower marks than anticipated. And then we get to that place. We were given a name. We were called Wonder Monos. You know? Wonder Monos. And now my form 3, you know, the guy I love the form 3. I think they used to give him pride, because you'd find when the rating and the, you know, by then there was ranking. You'd find the form 3s by then in 2005. 2005, the form 3s were there, the class of 2005, the class walikuwa form 3, they were really performing very well, and Mr. Gitari loved them because kulikuwa na watu very bright. We used to call them chenchi. Those days were really bright, and they were they were the disciplinarians. So Mr. Gitari kwa assembly would like, you know, there is no way you will introduce your own culture here. You know, Ko has got a tradition. So it's like he felt we were introducing our own culture maybe by anything we did. Mr. Gitari wasn't amused with that. Anything we did, because I think aliona saim I might lose the ego that I have, but because Eko alone was ranked among the best
in the
Eastern provinces, Eko was the best. So now bringing me this kind of wonder people, they might lower the grading and what have you. So I remember there was a time you could get monolized maybe, and it was a normal thing by then, because for us, I remember there are many times we've spent night outside. It was bullying manzi kwa dormitory. You know there is a dormitory that was
tushaiamshwa saa 7 ya usiku tukaoga.
Mono mjaoga, kimbieni mkaoga. Ama mono saa hii kuna giza, mnapatiwa bucket. Uchote hii giza iishe. How do you do that? And you remember guys used to but then kulikuwa
then now the worst of it is that hata teachers tu
wanafungia jicho. But pale iko kuna teachers walikuwa so against it and you would approach them, but it's like that was a tradition. You have to be bullied for you to fit. And sometimes I think it used to, okay, I'm not encouraging it, but it used to mold. You know, umetoka class 8
without the beating.
Without the beating and other things.
Other challenges.
Like umetoka class 8, wewe ndio ulikuwa kusema. You see? Now unakuja pale thinking that wewe ndio
kuna utoro lakini bado unatembea.
Exactly. So they were like you know, this is how it goes here. Lie low. Listen to the people who've been around here. But now it was taken overboard. There is a time we slept kulikuwa, by then when I joined the co ndo walikuwa wameba ile basi yao. We used to call it bull. And ilikuwa mpatiwa admission number 3211. I still remember the admission of that one. So it was a story that when this bull was bought, as in walitoa nguo wakaitandika from Kangoro. You know the entrance ikanyanga nguo ilikuja kwa carpet and imetengenezwa like a guard of honor.
Yes,
people are it's passing through. East side ya Kangoro kuna wana, the other side kuna watu. That was a story we are being told.
It was exactly
and then when it reached there Kasupu, now you could call it a bull because it could stand out. Sijui kama iko bado sasa.
Bado iko kwanza sasa hizi
imebrandiwa. So it would stand out. Ungeiona kwa basi zingine it would stand out. And ilikuwa nyuma ilikuwa imeinuka somehow like a bull. So it was nicknamed the bull. Unaona? Na kufika tu iko boys ikapatiwa admission number. So one thing with that, admission number, mwalimu alikuwa anakupata nje, asinojea sasa anataka tu punish. Afterward, akuuliza admission number yako ni gani? 3211. Pale kwa assembly, you know, like after the assembly, let me see the following. Anasema admission number and then 3211. So then baadaye people are so amesoma admission number ya kiraka, you know. So life in the core boys. So about us not introducing the culture, ninasema toa bullying, you know, if you toa bullying you like tell that, you know, you from once you're very new here, this has got a tradition that we follow. You cannot introduce yours, you know, you say it politely, like we have preps, like we go for breakfast at this time, you know, some of us would want to go for breakfast at 8, would like to skive the morning preps, you know. That is why now you find that the teacher himself, the principal himself was mad with us, because we like, this is a, you know, a
village boys.
Exactly. We are very slow in adapting. So we told the Form 3s, why my mighty, nimekumbuka jina. Now my mighty Form 3s teach these wonder morals, the culture and the tradition. I think walichukulia kama si vile mwalimu alikuwa la. Kama sio alikuwa na maana walichukulia exactly. That night we received a beating. Tukalala kwa, so hiyo story ya bull, kulikuwa na gari nyingine. You remember there was now
the lorry
itself. Ndio ilikuwa sasa after tu ilikuwa mebayo ilikapakiwa adjacent. So I remembered some guys spending night because walichapwa. You know, for me it was tiny.
Sisi the same, hiyo siku nilikuwa nakwambia tuliamshwa saa 7 ya usiku. That Friday principal alikuwa amesema out for once mna behave vibaya sana. Akaambia form 4 kwani amuonyeshi hawa njia. Akaamua
wacha tuwaonyeshe njia.
Wacha tuonyeshe njia. Njia mliona.
Tuliona ukiwa na giza.
You saw.
Unaona njia mkiwa na giza.
So but for me, unaona when you go to high school, unapata form 2 mwenye atakuwa na kuguide. So jamaa mwenye alinichukua alikuwa ni jamaa polite. So ni jamaa mwenye angekupatia immune father figure. Jamaa alikuwa anaitwa Roy. Sijui Roy aliendanga wapi. Roy alikuwa Roy wa drama. I think you've interacted with Roy.
Yes,
Yeah. So Roy at least alikuwa anani shield. Watu wakichapa mimi nilikuwa tunasikia story the following day because at least but and then nilikuwa mtu wa CU by that time. So tungeenda CU watu wakichapa, unaona watu wale walikuwa wanachapa ni mmetoka preps immediately and then you go to the dormitory. So mimi ningekaa yote mkikuwa na evening prayers. So I go for evening prayers and then after hapo we chapa story na Roy and then anani escort mpaka ile dormitory tulikuwa tunaita Kayole dom 3. That dom was just adjacent to the old dining hall.
Yes.
By then that old dining sijui kama bado iko ni chakula ni convert
hapo sasa ni dom ziko.
Ilikuwa ni convert to dom 5 by then but I think much has changed. So hiyo time nikifika majamaa washaachapa walikuwa kichapwa because it didn't last long. Ilikuwa ni kitu faster because you still TOD anaweza kuja apate that kind of nonsense. So mimi nilikuwa napata tu ni story ni singesema nilimonoliziwa sana. I think even the size itself and then I was cool.
Jamaa wadogo tulikuwa na
so hata unagonga wapi and then I was really obedient. You know I was obedient and nilikuwa bado like sielewi mambo mob sana. So alikuwa anaona jamaa na kiherehere. So unaambiwa and then at times you find that you've got other friends. Unaona friends wenye wako form 3. So anakuambia go and sleep on their bed. Ulikuwa unajua vitanda za mono ziko na bed sheet mpya, ziko na mabed cover mpya, so they were visible from a distance. Ulikuwa unachukuliwa kama samaki. So
anakuambia wewe
ingia kwa bed yangu, ndio nako kitanda ya form 2 ama form 3 una confused. So kitanda yako anasema hii mono imeamua kuextend. You know iko mentioning about the culture of the cowboys. It was allowed that after normal preps that used to end at was it 9:10 I think it's 9:05 so it was allowed you could stay in that class as long as you wished. So tuko tunaita ku-extend. So you could hear them saying that kwani mbona imeamua ku-extend aje ninasoma introduction. Unasikia ndio hapo kitanda ya mburugo. Sio kumbuka the brown guy. Ndio kitanda ya mburugo hapo. And I would listen them na
sasa mburugo mlisikizana ya CU.
Mburugo alikuwa ni official. Sasa so mimi nilikuwa mtu wa CU. So tukasikizana pale, we became friends. Walikuwa class moja na Roy. So when Roy is not around, Roy was in the other dorm. Other dorms, I think it was dorm 2. We used to call it not sikumbuki Kangangi was dom 1. Sikumbuki the names. Then kulikuwa na Mogwe, kulikuwa sikumbuki hizo majina. Mogwe ilikuwa ni exact Kangangi, then the rest. So when Roy is not taking care of me, Mburugu was there, angenipatia cover. So
you remind me bro. Mburugu alikuwa wasiu sana. So kuna time ameenda akakuja akaniambia teacher kuna something nataka kukuambia. So ananiita pale kwa Kamawe. So
exactly.
Tunaenda. Teacher Roho Mtakatifu ameniongelesha. Ameniambia wewe anataka kukutumia wewe. Ukue umhudumie. Somja like how? Amechagua nimhudumie.
Amekutuma kwangu aje.
Yes, anataka wewe. Ukue mhubiri. Nikamwambia hivyo ndiye ameamua. Nikamwambia ni sawa. You know ni story. Huwezi mdiscourage sana. Kama ingekuwa mtu kama saizi ningemwambia of all people amechagua watu wote. Akaona mimi ndio ninaanza.
And then pia
ndio mkonsole.
And then pia wewe ndiye ametuma. Haezi hataki kuniongelesha mimi. Amekutoa.
So amuliza like how teacher vile unafunza na unaongea na if you do the same
in the ministry.
Watu
think about it.
It's not like so by then so like yangu for Monica kwa hivyo and my class teacher alikuwa ni Mr. Gituma. Mr. Gituma used to take us through mathematics. And I remember the way, you just try to collect some pieces and put together. Mr. Gituma introduced himself like walking around this school. You not find someone like me because I am very bad. Very bad. And then akaongeza nile base. Bad indeed.
Yes.
Very bad. I am very bad. Bad indeed. And at the same time, walking this compound, you see somebody like me because at the same time, I'm very good. Very good. Good indeed. So, understanding literature was like Mr. Gituma will react towards what you do. You will view him basing on how you behave yourself. If you carry yourself out with the respect, you will not find someone as good as him. But if you just become you try to do some rat and mouse games there, you are going to hate him and think that he's one of the most worst people in that place. So, nikamuelewa. So for me, I didn't have much because I've told you the school I came from. I had a lot of English in my mind. Now coming to Eco Boys, you find that for me nilikuwa najua watu wa kijiji. There is this village, the other village, tuko tunasomea shule moja. Now coming to Eco Boys, I find people from all forms of from all tribes. Nikapata Wakikuyu, hata Wajaka, hata from that ndio unapata watu Wachuka. Coming from the other side of Chogoria, sikuwa nimeinteract sana na watu Wachuka. So I find that kuna watu Wachuka, kuna watu wametoka Embu, people from Nairobi, but then we used to fear them. So they are interacting and bana wasewabaki. Mazi the only thing I need to play alikale kakintajuala. So what is this basketball? So for me and then even interacting with them,
kulikuwa na best player wa basket. Kwa Dennis who?
Sisi kumbuka but I remember
somebody.
Alikuwa anacheza baki sana bana. Then akona height. So me I'm like I cannot even interact with them because kufungua mdomo niongee kizungu ilikuwa tricky by then. So I think I didn't even appear kwa list of noisemakers because ningeongeana nani sasa. Ningeongeana nani because people were like Swahili na Sheng. Me the much I know, the much I could speak at that time was Kimeru, Yoga Chogoria. So who am I interacting with? So I used, and I remember kulikuwa na jamaa alikuwa anaitwa, can I remember that name? Alikuwa Nyabuto. Remember Nyabuto? Yes. Nyabuto would give, Nyabuto alikuwa 2B, alikuwa 1B. And then the head boy alikuwa Andande mpaka saa hii akona ni rafiki yangu Morris Jumba. Morris Jumba saa hii is in the military.
Yes, someone at Madaraka, so
Victor. Yes.
Alikuwa
and after the military, he was a little bit bigger. Alirudi kitoshana na wewe because I think
kule
exactly.
Unajua military ilikuwa inaletwa kwa Imono alikuwa anapata
alikuwa ananiambia ni kutoa uraia. Unatolewa useverian. You feel like a guy in the military. So like it wasn't hard because remember Eco Boys are then was still a military camp. We call Eco Boys a military camp. So when Morris was there, he would try to converse with me after meetings at CU. Tumeachana na kina Burugu nini, and then we would meet on weekends. Anajaribu converse na mimi manzi singeelewa. Okay, ningeelewa kile anasema but kureply na English and I mean for one then imekata. I think nikijaribu kutaka maneno ya Kizungu na kutana na maneno ya Kimeru tu.
So conversation
sitajibu. So hata kwa listeners makers sikuwa na pia because nitaongeaje unless niongee na sign language. But with time nilikuwa na learn na wale watu walikuwa wametoka Chogore Boys boarding. Remember Kianjeru, wale watu wametoka boarding, watu wametoka Reverend Kingi, and then there was Kiera Academy. Those guys would converse and you like, guys, hii ulisomea wapi? Kwetu ni kama ilikuwa option. But I think towards the end of the term as we proceeded to form 2, I would at least construct kwa nishaland that hey man, this is not a primary school. This is a place whereby you are an adult, you need to learn a lot of things. Most of the things that you learn here in Eco Boys, si zile vitu mwalimu amekuja kwa class akafunza. You know, Eco Boys had a culture whereby you are given guidelines to be independent. You are given, it wasn't spoon feeding. Mwalimu anakupatia guidelines for you to read for yourself and understand. So
that culture is still
there.
Mbaye talked about
it. Yeah. It is in a video for
he loves that.
Exactly. The culture that self-driven. As in, teachers are not there to tell you what is going to happen. They give guidelines, and then from there you read for yourself. So at that, I think I was able to adopt that, and I learned some verbs, adjectives, nouns, and whatever. I was able to flow.
The English teacher?
By then, my English teacher was Mr. Nguru, but I then interacted with Mr. Gitonga. I interacted with Mr. Motegi, who literature. I interacted with Mr. Chege. You remember
Mr. Chege?
Mr. Chege was, I would say, the guy that he really understood linguistics.
Stress.
A lot of languages. He would even try to, to quote some things. So
and whenever you made pronunciation in the wrong way, he would always tell you, may I make correction?
He was polite.
Students.
He was polite. Unlike Mr. Mukendia, Mr. Mukendia would make some mistakes in Kiswahili, and he would tell you, acha kukojolea lugha. Mr. Mukendia also, Kiswahili wouldn't want you to mess around with Kiswahili. With Mr. Mbongo. Mr. Mbongo Makosa.
Mr. Mbongo is now the principal Kigonge. He has invited us. We should go there.
Mr. Mbongo, yeah. He would, when you're writing, there are some things you used to write, it was called ufupisho. You read a story in Kiswahili, and then you are asked about a certain ini. So you would elezea in writing. So you would find in your paper, he has written H. H was for hapo umefanya makosa ya ijai. There was something you would call ijai. I think and then S used to mean that umefanya makosa ya sarufi. So makosa ya ijai na sarufi. So for me, until nikafika form 2, I think that is now when I started to now fit naweza piga story. I think by then kaanza kuingia kwa kitabu ya noise maker. Sasa sababu naweza chapa story nini and then nikaanza ku feel comfortable. Now I'm in form 2. I'm no longer
by form 2 prefect was Kennedy.
Kennedy was our prefect from form 1. You know Kennedy, I'm yet to see someone who is composed as Kennedy. Kennedy was composed.
Genius.
Kennedy was a genius. I later on met him in Kenyatta University. By then I had taken a friend. So sijui kama alikuwa ameingia kusoma but I think because sikumbuki what we discussed.
Atatuambia mahali hapo.
Atatuambia the watch Kennedy watch video atatuambia mahali hapo. Yeah, so by then Kennedy was the class prefect. So nikaanza kuingia kwa list. Our first prefect was Eric Gikundi. So kama unamkumbuka, then sijui Eric alifanyaje. Tulikuwa form 1 akachujwa. Sasa akuka but Eric sahi is in Canada. We still keep in touch. You know Eric was
this video is
we will tag him. Eric stayed, I think he's in Dadaab ama Kakuma. He did something to do with nursing and MRIs. So he is in Canada. We still keep in touch. And you remember he was a good friend of mine. Yeah, so we still keep in touch. Then Eric akachujwa. I think alikuwa anatufavor sana. Pale wewe tena uko prefect to just your birthdays you give them kama ni ndizi because captain prefect alikuwa anachukua hizi ma fruits. He would give me like 2, so I'm like so by then Kennedy akaingia and Kennedy also did. I think Kennedy alichujwa I think after the strike. Sikumbuki vizuri.
The strike. I
was informed to that. I was informed to.
So what happened?
There was a strike. There were 2 strikes.
There were 2 strikes.
When I was
the mother of all.
the mother of all was when I was in form 3. Nimekumbuka. The strike ikiwa form 2, there was a student who had passed. Siku kama unakumbuka. There's a student who passed during that weekend. And then the students were aggrieved by that. Na kulikuwa na weekend challenge. Kulikuwa na weekend challenge. So the damage wasn't big because I think the commotion was there. It was not a planned strike, by the way. It was not a planned. I think the guy complained and he was taken to hospital. Nurse akakuja. You know, we had a nurse. I think the lady came very fast, but student will not understand. But I think let me not mention the name because I don't remember the name. So the guy passed on.
After alienda
it was on a Saturday. So akaenda OC and then he passed on. So the student will give the blame to the administration that you could have done this, So as a reaction, widow pays zilianza kuvunjwa kama tuko weekend challenge. So leave alone that was because I remember what by then Gitari said, alisema ameskiza and he really understand and he doesn't want. I remember we paid around 357. Everybody from 1 akasema we have to share the burden because they understand. It's like what the president said. I have heard you. I have heard you. Yeah, Gen Zs have heard you. So the second strike now, because now I've moved from nimetoka from 2. By then nimekuwa prefect. Unaona sasa? Nimetake over from Kenya.
Hapo ndio maana ilibesha because now I remember you.
Yeah.
Also being up.
So our class teacher was Mr. Gituma. So I think Mr. Gituma I was very tiny by then. I don't know what he saw in me, but I think I've always been a leader. Acha nijipigie debe kidogo. So Mr. Gituma made me the prefect and I went on mpaka nikamaliza form 4. So tukatoka form 2. I was in form 2C. Form 2C ilikuwa naona tunaweza sema ni marui. Form 2C hata walikuwa na threaten sana. Wananiambia kujaribu tuandike noisemaker tena. Naambia bana you cannot threaten me. You just disturb us. And I remember the saying that we were told that treat classroom as a sacred place.
Yes.
And it would be repeated more often every time in our assembly. Treat this classroom as a sacred place. Why? Because this is a place where lives can be made. At the same time, lives can be destroyed. So it was like, hey, bro, remember some people here, bana. If you use me as an example, a lot of sacrifice has been made at home
for me
to keep me in school. And not me alone. I know other people. A lot of sacrifice has been made, including maybe the community has come together to pay someone's fees, and then you are here. We want us to joke around, and for you it's not even a bother. It's just how do I say it? Kupata fee yako maybe hata maybe mzazi wako ajuangi because to him is a pocket change, but to some of us something that I didn't even want to mention. My dad had to, I know it happens to many, that's why I even skip. My dad had to do a lot of manual jobs, including working in other people's farms. Actually, this is exclusive
to get you.
I really appreciate. Actually, Mzai did a lot of work for me. The person I am today is actually ni bidii yake because Mzai alifanya a lot of mingi singesema. It's not that alifanya vitu out of law, but alifanya everything possible to see me stay in school, because by then hakuwa na any formal job. He would work vibarua, he would work mpaka anaongea na majamaa wengine wenye anafanya kazi nao. By the way, I really appreciate. Used to work at somebody's farm who would actually pay my school fees, and then my dad would aendelee kulipa deni na kijana hapo shule. So that one would make me reflect about life, and I knew if it was happening to me, it could also be happening to somebody else. So when I was made the prefect of the class, my main goal was to make classroom conducive for someone to continue with studies. So that's why I didn't even bother much about how can I call them? Bother much about the threats, the way they were threatening me. Reflecting on how maybe life can be destroyed in that school, in the classroom. So I had to might be a little bit strict, but up to date. You see unaanga kwa mitandao they like wale prefect walikuwa wanatuandika noise makers sasa imekuwa kwa pharmacy mnaandika one time is 300. So but I thank God most of the I can see I'm reaping the benefits of the things I did because I really brought a lot of order and control in that class because even that ilikuwa na marui wale majamaa sitaki wataja majina
wanajijua.
Acha nipige story strike. So there was this strike.
Na hiyo video ya strike tulijaribu patch hivi vile tuliona mambo ilikuwa hivyo.
Kwa hapa unajua kuna strikes mbili, ile ilihappen kama si yuko. So sikumbuki ni gani mlikava.
Hii yenye ni gani wao ujailala nje ya shule.
Ndio shule.
Yote ya kwenda unajua huyu alikuwa pro system.
Yule alikuwa pro system. Mimi wala mamoja kabisa. Mimi kwa pro system ba. That Sunday meeting.
Unasikia
Mimi kwa ndani ya system. You see,
ndio alikuwa anasaidia form 1.
Niko nasaidia. Unaona sasa, and then you see this kidonda iko hapa. Mimi nilikatwa na window pane. You see the way milango ya lab imejengwa. Milango ya lab vile iko, we have separations, a grill, and then kuko na window panes zimewekwa hapo. So when I saw moto imewakishwa lab, akili yangu ainiambi it could be fuel. If you know even a paper is a fuel, it could be petrol, it could be anything. Akili yangu inaniambia tu ni karatasi. Do you know I got inside?
No.
I got inside the lab. It was the bio lab. I got inside the bio lab. Huko ndiko moto ilikuwa imewakishwa and nikazima ile moto because iko imenini. So baadaye I was like, what if this was petrol? Nilichomekea tu ndani. So as I was getting out because nishazima and staki majamaa wanipate hapo. Na haraka nikakatwa hapa. Unaona? But ilikuwa
it's true. Ule mse wase ile mse hiyo video they need to watch that. Ule wa mafuta ali save watu. They bring it happened. So the story how it started. So because sisi tuko na version yetu hapo.
So mimi all along mimi sikujua vile because unajua ni pro system. Hata mabeshte wangu wale wanajua what is going to happen hawataki kuniambia because mimi ni pro system. I might
hata wale wametoka pamoja nyumbani.
Actually Derek has always confessed that he knew everything. But he wouldn't risk. Actually alikuwa anaambiwa, you know, the school I came from, the primary school I came from was called Kalewa. Because of the market that is there. Now we went to
that is the name of the school.
That is the name of the school. Kalewa. Of the place. Okay. Even the market is called Kalewa Market. You know, people confuse it with Kamnyweso.
So maybe it is out of that.
It could, but I don't know. So out of that school, we were 3 guys that joined the Cowboys. So Peter alikuwa pale, Peter Munene. Peter is in the US. Peter Munene is in the US. Yeah, Peter is in the US. So when he joined, he was nicknamed Kalewa A. He joined Stream A. Derek, you know Derek. Derek acha tuseme but he's doing fine.
Yes,
Derek was went to Stream B. So he was nicknamed Kalewa B. So went to Stream C. I was nicknamed Kalewa C. So we were all Kalewas. Ukisikia umeona Kalewa wapi? So Derek was the one. Usijaribu kuambia Kalewa C. Usijaribu kumwambia. Because I was found as anyway, I was the prefect and also Peter was the prefect. Peter alikuwa captain wa Dom 5 and a prefect wa water, electricity and clubs. I remember very well. Sasa Derek ananiambie nini. But
akikwambia
ningekimbia tu kwa kanga. Nimwambie manzi
Katanuka.
Leo ikifika tu saa 3
katanuka.
You know, strikes have been evaded by sometimes tuko tunaambiwa ikifika short break ya shule ndio break 10 minutes msitoke daru.